Assalamu alaikum. Today we continue with the third mark for the state of khafd, lowering of the end of a noun. So we covered kasra, we covered the ya. Today we will cover al-fatha. This fatha here. It's used here in place of kasra. This is kasra. So this noun coming after the lowering letter here took this kasra here. Now this place of addition, this 3 here, thalatha, this noun is added to this noun, meaning 3 places. The noun that you add to should always take kasra. But in the case of this noun, it took the fatha as a mark for the state of lowering. So when you describe this noun, you say it's in the state of being lowered because of its position in the sentence as a noun that have another noun added to it, meaning here it's telling me 3 of what? 3 places. But because of its state not accepting this kasra, it took the fatha as a mark. So that's how they make that statement. And that's how you understand why this took the fatha instead of this kasra. So this fatha is used as a mark in a place that usually it's not used for, but this is what the point of this here. So we covered where the kasra is used and the ya is used. Today we see where the fatha is used. So وأما الفتحة, as for the fatha, فتكون علامة للخفض في الاسم الذي لا ينصرف. So as for the fatha, it will be a mark, علامة, for lowering للخفض in the name في الاسم الذي لا ينصرف, which means that the noun accepts the u sound at the end of it and accepts the a sound at the end of it, but it does not accept nonation or the e at the end of it. So that's what this لا ينصرف, it does not change. If we see examples about this from this text, مبادئ اللغة العربية, we have the link for it in the description. So here they explain what the normal state of a noun. It's called munsarif, meaning it's mu'rab, meaning it accepts changes. That's what mu'rab means, accept changes at its end. Munsarif means it accepts all the movements. So it takes the u, it takes the a, and takes the e. So mu'rab accepts change and it's munsarif. So that's how it's used in grammar. It accepts these. وغير المنصرف. Now they're discussing what is munsarif and غير منصرف. So it's mu'rab, accepts change, but it is غير منصرف, not munsarif, meaning not changing into nonation. Here you can take nonation, al-mu'rab al-munsarif, and it takes the lowering. But here غير المنصرف, it does not accept nonation and it does not accept the kasra. For this here, غير المنصرف. So this mu'rab, the nouns that accept change, some of them will accept all the movements, nonation, the u, the a, and the e. But the غير المنصرف from this mu'rab does not accept the nonation and the e at the end. It only takes the u and the a. Here they have an example. جاءنا رجل عالم. Came to us. رجل is indefinite for a man, indefinite, so it took the nonation. And it's raised, so it took the u sound. So that's what the subject does. It takes the u sound, and if it's indefinite, it takes the the nonation. So رجل, he came to us. عالم, he is knowledgeable. So a knowledgeable man came to us. So you have, this is the mu'rab munsarif, this here. رأيت رجلا عالما. Notice the nonation and the movement change because this is here is an object. I saw a knowledgeable man. So the movement at the end of this indefinite noun changed to an a. That's the state of nasb. And one of the states of a noun when it's an object, it takes that a sound. Because it's indefinite, it took the nonation an. The adjective followed this noun, and that's why it took that movement. مررت برجل عالم. I passed by. This letter here in this context means by. This ba here, b. رجل. Notice the lowering because this ba is a lowering letter. So رجل. This e with a nonation for the same reasons. So this is the normal case. The noun behave. In this case, an indefinite noun. Now, if I use this noun here, it's a proper noun called Hamza. Hamza. It refers to a man. So this is a proper noun for a man. But it sounds feminine because of adding this ta at the end. The way it sounds feminine, even though it refers to a man, a proper noun. If I use it here, if I say جاءنا حمزة, and because a proper noun is definite, I would add the al here, العالم. So if I replace this رجل with Hamza, now I have to define this adjective because proper noun is defined. And usually proper nouns, they take the nonation. But I cannot say that. I would have to say حمزة. So I would say جاءنا حمزة العالم. And because this is defined, it no longer this adjective is defined now by this definite article. It no longer takes the nonation. So it would also be العالم. So that's how this change will happen. You see what changed here? No nonation, even though proper nouns take nonation, but this one here because of these conditions. And here it lost the nonation because of this definite article. It's defined now. The same thing goes here. Now this is one of the ways a noun loses that ability to take the nonation or the kasra, the e, and it's replaced by the fatha. So here, that's where you would see the difference. If you see this sentence, instead of this rajulun, if I wrote Hamza, if this was a proper noun that accepts the nonation and the lowering, it would be Hamza, Hamzatin. But because of this one of the nouns that does not accept it, I cannot do this. It will be Hamzata. So you would hear me say مررت بحمزة العالم. Again, I defined it with the definite article because this is a proper noun, a definite noun. And it lost the nonation because of it. But it kept this kasra. Notice, مررت بحمزة العالم. That's what you would see it in text. Any text with diacritics, you will see this. So now you know that there is something that caused this to happen. At this level, just get an idea about these. You don't have to go too deep into them. Use these as reference. You come back to it. So this is an example of these nouns. Ibrahim here, same thing. It's a proper noun referring to a man. But now it's not because it sounds feminine, because it's a foreign noun that is more than 3 letters. So any proper noun that's not Arabic in origin and it's more than 3 letters also stops accepting the nonation and in and on, and you cannot lower the end, the last letter e. So that's another type of noun for a different reason. Maryam here, same thing. This here, there is no marks like this tied ta there that's usually tied to feminine, but its meaning is feminine and it's a proper noun, so Maryam. So also Maryam will not accept nonation or lowering of the end. Now, where you will see this more often is with the descriptions or adjectives that describe colors or some defects like limp or red or white. So أعرج, أحمر. Here أعرج means limp, أحمر means red. So anything that rhyme with this form of a noun, أفعال, and it's an adjective, like أحمر, أعرج, it does not accept nonation or an. So you would see this more in text because of its adjective. أحمر is red, أبيض is white, أصفر is yellow. So you will come across this more often. So that's another example of why a noun does not accept nonation or the E sound. Now this here is madaris, schools, plural for schools. And you have the example here. This rhymes with this word, مفاعل. The singular of this noun, madrasa, was broken to make the plural by adding this a. This a is an added a here. So after this you have two letters that are moving, مفاعل. So you can have madarisa, madarisu. If it's not defined, there is no definite article, and it's not added, you're not saying the madaris, schools of the city, let's say. So you're not saying madarisul madina. In that case, you cannot use nonation or the E. So that's if it rhymes with this type of broken plural. Same thing here, mafa'il. After the added a, you get three letters. In between there is a silent letter which is this E here. So عيل. So عيلة or عيلو. That's the only way we would see this. We will see examples now. So that's another form. So that's too much details to go into. But this will give you an idea why would some nouns not accept the nonation or the E sound. Now, an important note. All this does not apply if you define it. If I say al-madaris, the schools, or define it another way. I say madarisu al-madina. So now the schools of that city. So it's defined now. It's added to a definite noun, which is the school, the city. So the schools of the city. Now it goes back to accepting the E, the kasra. The nonation, you will never see nonation. Here, this is for an example. You will never see nonation joined with a definite article or when it's defined by adding the noun to another noun. So this here you will see it madarisi. As I said, but you will never see it with a nonation for different reasons, because here it's defined and here it's defined also, but it's still here it takes the kasra and here it can take the kasra when it's defined. As I said, this is too much detail. We will just look at some text. I will roll through these texts so you will get an idea if you want to use it as a reference later. So here, this is the first page of this text. And here they discuss the nouns. Here they discuss the foreign nouns and why they do not accept it, or they're listing them. So here there is more details. As I said, you shouldn't worry about this too much for now. Just recognize that there are some nouns like this. Later, you can always go back to the text whenever you question the movement at some noun. And every time you do this, you start to master it easily just by returning to it when you need it. Here, the 6 reasons for a proper noun not to accept the nonation and the kasra is listed. These are examples here. We will talk about some of this when we see the examples. Here's the continuation of that list showing the 6 reasons. So these are the 6 reasons, in addition to being a proper noun, that cause this to happen. Now the adjectives not all adjectives take this state, only if they meet certain conditions. So they're listing the three conditions. You notice they rhyme with some type of form of a word. فعلان, أفعل. And here they talk about the third case in which a plural rhymes with certain words. Now they are talking about the nouns that end with the feminizing alif or a. So with these, whatever the noun is, if they end with the feminizing extended a, which means this a here, you see this a there? So this a here is an extended a, hamra, which is the feminine for red. So wardatun hamra, a red rose. This a that have a hamza after it, notice hamra at the end. This is extended a. Notice how I extend the pronouncing of it. Or a shortened one, like this marda here, patience. So this called maqsura, which means shortened. And this here is another one of the extended. So here it means friends, asdiqa, and here it means marda, the patient. So this here is shorter than this. In either case, whatever the noun is, if it's a proper noun like Salma or Khansa, here you have two examples of proper nouns for a female, or an adjective as Hubla, which means pregnant, or Adra, which means a virgin. So this is the extended a here, and you recognize it by the Hamza after it. So that's another example. Now we'll look at this exercise. You see this exercise here? It's exercise 51 in the book called مبادئ اللغة العربية. We have the link for it in the description. So all these nouns here, they will not take nonation and they will not take the E sound. They will only take the fatha. In the case of lowering the end of it, it will take the fatha. So the answer for these questions, it will be in this book here. You see this, we also have the link for this book. So the book is called مبادئ العربية, and the answer book for it, it has this difference. It says تمارين السنة الرابعة, the exercises of the fourth year. So the main book has this name, مبادئ العربية, and this book also has this name, except it says تمارين السنة الرابعة. You'll recognize this page in it. So in this book you have the answer for these nouns here, why they lost that ability to take that E sound. So the first page here in this book covers the first nouns there. So here, that's the 51, exercise 51. Now anashid here, it says, it gives the reason here why this word lost that ability or became غير منصرف. It says وزن مفاعيل, the scale of مفاعيل, meaning it rhymes with this word. That's why. So that's the explanation that you would give when you answer. بيت لحم, this is another reason. Two nouns are joined to form one noun and they form a proper noun, and it's called assembly. So it's a proper noun formed by assembly with تركيب. If these two conditions meet, this noun loses the lowering of its end with an E. It takes the A instead. And it also does not take the nonation. أخضر, which means green, it's an adjective. So here they give the reason. It rhymes with the word أفعال. So وزن means the scale of أفعال. So that's the reason, one reason. The second reason, it's adjective. So an adjective that rhymes with أفعال loses that E. You will not see the E sound at the end of it. And you will not see the nonation. And when it's lowered, if it has to be lowered by the reasons we discussed before, it will have the fatha. That's what we are studying today. Now these are more examples for different reasons for that. As I said, there is too much details in this, but now you have a reference you can go back to. There are more pages to cover this exercise. That's the second page here. These are the rest of the nouns. Here they wrote Paris. This is Paris, but they wrote it as Paris. And being a proper noun and a foreign noun. So that's the reason here. Two reasons. Proper and being foreign. So just being proper is not enough. It has to be either foreign, feminine. You will have another reason with it. Others have only one reason for that. So, as I said, too much details. أشياء, things. This is the plural for things. أشياء. Notice the extended A there with the hamza after it. So this has one reason for it. It has this extended A at the end of it. That's why it lost the nonation. And you don't show the state of its end with an E. You use an A, the fatha. Again, you can use this as reference whenever you study this subject. You can always come back to it, and now you have an idea about it. Thank you for listening. See you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.